where are we? Shh. No, I'll do that later. Page 219. Answer to Sir Thomas More's dialogue. William Tyndale. Introductory notice. It was in 1528 that Sir Thomas More, being already regarded as the most accomplished scholar in England, and having before his eyes a near prospect of being invited to fill the chief place in his sovereign's council, was induced to accept Bishop Tunstall's permission to read the works of the reformers, that he might be qualified to refute them. Nor did he suffer the year to elapse before he had composed, as the first fruits of his consequent researches and zeal, an imaginary dialogue between himself and the confidential messenger of a friend desirous to know his opinions respecting the religious questions which were then forcing themselves into general notice. Hold on one second. Great, and I just forgot where I was. Hold on. That's friend, religious question, general note. Sorry, my allergies are getting my throat today. In the edition of Sir Thomas More's works printed at London in 1557 and then dedicated to Queen Mary, as to the person to whom, specially of all worldly creatures, the editor, William Rastall, surgeon at law, trusted the book should be most acceptable. The title of this effort to write down Tyndale and his labors is as follows. Yeah, it's still going. A dialogue of Sir Thomas More, KNT, that might be Knight, I don't know, one of the council of our foreign lord the king and chancellor of his duchy at Lancaster, wherein he treated divers matters as of the veneration and worship of images and relics, praying to saints and going on pilgrimages, with many other things touching the pestilent sect of Luther and Tyndale, by the one begun in Saxony, and by the other labored to be brought into England, made in the year of our Lord 1528. The dialogue was divided by its author into 4 books, and occupies in that quarto edition 184 close printed pages. The date in the above title page tells when More's dialogue was composed, but Mr. Anderson's researches have led him to conclude that it was not published till the summer of 1529. Tyndale's title page, in like manner, tells us that he made his answers in 1530. But though Vaughan's dispatch to Henry VIII of the date of January 26, 1531, confirms this fact, it was not committed to the press till about the close of the spring of that year. By that time, More had been promoted from the chancellorship of the duchy to the elevated post of Lord High Chancellor of England, but the laborious duties of that judicial and political office did not prevent his undertaking to write a I can't say that word, confuctiation of Tyndale's answers. Confuctiation? Yeah. And on such a scale that when he had not advanced beyond the first 30 pages of his opponent, he found that he had written enough to fill a folio volume of above 360 pages, which was printed for him by his brother-in-law, William Rastall, in 1532. It is divided into 3 books, and the most prominent feature in the first book is the continual recurrence of abusive mention of Luther's marriage with Catherine Boren. As she had been a nun and Luther a priest, it was to be expected that More would consider their marriage as illegal and sinful, and would consequently think himself entitled to speak of her as of a harlot. But it is strange that he should not have perceived that there was neither argument nor decency in twitting Tyndale and Luther's marriage page after page, and in the coarsest terms, as More has done here. See especially page, I don't know what that is. When out of office, More continued his confuctiation till it, that is CONFUTACYON, till it had reached the length of 9 books, the 8th of which is, however, altogether a digression from Tyndale to Barnes. So wordy a reply to Tyndale's answer was not likely to have to have many readers, and we accordingly find that in 5 and 20 years it had fallen into such neglect and that Sergeant Rastel could not meet with a complete copy of the ninth book for his edition of Moore's works. He had made his printer go on till he had put the last words of a fragment before him into type, viz., these things hath, I say, and there he was obliged to terminate his reprint with the following note. There can be no more found of this ninth book written by Sir Thomas More. Works, page 832. It is, however, to the credit of More's fairness as a controversialist, that the extracts from Tyndale incorporated into the Confucian are so many and so accurate as to have been of material use to the present editor in his endeavor to form a correct text, for which purpose he has also collected Day's folio reprint of 1573 with a copy of Tyndale's answer, now in the Cambridge University Library and not likely to have been the first edition. It is a black letter duodecimo without date of place or year. The type is foreign, but it is not Hans Luff's. The pronunciation is German. Great. This is great. It is not page, but the leaves are numbered in a small Roman ordinals and is bound up with disputation of purgatory made by John Frith, which is in the same type. We have already had an occasion to mention that Frith is said by a contemporary to have superintended the printing of Tyndale's answer at Amsterdam, Volume 1, page 1. The title page of the above mentioned edition in the Cambridge University Library announces and describes Tyndale's answers as follows. I don't know if I want to read that. Let me just look at this. It's a couple small things. That one, I'll read this. An answer unto Sir Thomas More's dialogue made by William Tyndale. First he declareth that the church is, and giveth a reason of certain words which Master More rebuketh in the translation of the New Testament. After that he answereth particularly unto every chapter which seemeth to have an appearance of truth, through all his 5 books. Awake, thou that sleepeth, and stand up from death, and Christ shall give the light. Ephesians 5. Wow. All right. I think, that's where I'm going to stop that one. I don't know why that. I hope those aren't the new words that are going to be following, because this is going to get crazy.